Hi everyone, here's some of what's heading your way tonight. Your news at 9.
As more people in the area become fully vaccinated, the question becomes, how long will the vaccine keep you protected? I'm Chris Warner. We'll hear from a couple of local health officials on what the latest data suggests.
Plus, your reaction to Missouri lawmakers considering setting aside a day each year to honor the late Rush Limbaugh.
President Biden is pulling all U.S. troops out of Afghanistan. I'm Ray Bogan with why that's such a controversial decision, coming up.
Doug Eddy has weather. Jacob Leonard has sports. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Aubie. As more people in the area get fully vaccinated, you might be wondering just how long that vaccine will protect you. KOAM's Chris Warner spoke with 2 local health officials on what the current data suggests.
Larry Bergner with the Newton County Health Department says right now, data is showing positive results on the effectiveness of the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines.
So far, what I've read in research data has shown that both the Pfizer and the Moderna, once you have that 2-shot, you've completed the 2-shot series, you're upwards of 97% immunized and effective against the coronavirus.
Bergner says the latest data he's looked at suggests we'll be able to take a booster shot yearly, and he says some research says it may even be every 2 years. Dr. Eden Esquera is the infectious disease specialist at Mercy Hospital in Joplin. She's been looking at the latest research as well. Dr. Esquera says although there's not any published data right now, the research is looking promising.
I'm very confident that there will be a lot of published data soon. But I would venture to say that it will be like the flu vaccine now, that we will be getting like a booster shot every year or at a definite interval.
She says there's a new trend among those that have been vaccinated that's causing concern. Some people are getting antibody testing done once they're fully vaccinated. Dr. Esquera says that's not a good idea.
And there's a reason why that is not being recommended, i.e. that you measure antibodies, because then you start being doubtful, like, oh my God, maybe I need a 3rd shot or another kind of vaccine. I have received a Pfizer or the Moderna. Maybe I need the Moderna if I got the Pfizer vaccine.
That's because research right now says you typically only have antibodies after a recent COVID infection. And the way the vaccine works, it may not show up on an antibody test. I'm Chris Warner for KOAM News.
You can find the latest vaccine information for your area at our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. CDC advisory group postponed making a recommendation about the continued use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. What is continuing, though, is the current pause for at least 1 week. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Seary has more from Atlanta.
The COVID vaccination program is expanding. We're now averaging more than 3.3 million shots every day. But on Tuesday, a possible setback. The FDA and CDC recommending a pause in the use of Johnson & Johnson's vaccine following a series of rare blood clots in at least 6 patients, all women. The White House says there will be no disruption to the supply chain. Shots from Pfizer and Moderna will fill the gap for now. And the pause should demonstrate to vaccine skeptics that they're putting safety first.
It should reinforce in those individuals how we take safety so seriously. So as opposed to looking this as a negative safety issue, it could be looked at as a positive issue.
The CDC's Independent Vaccine Advisory Committee meeting on Wednesday to start reviewing clinical data. They'll make a recommendation to the FDA and other regulators with a final decision expected in the coming days.
They can laser focus in on exactly who's at risk here and fix the problem. It's a tiny percentage.
The pause comes amid a big push to get folks vaccinated as cities and states continue reopening. In Los Angeles, kids were back in class for in-person learning Tuesday. Administrators saying they know how to keep the virus from spreading in school.
We made it safe. We want families to know it's safe. We want them to know their children are welcome. They'll be well cared for.
The CDC also warning we're on the verge of another surge with new cases up 6% from last week. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seary, Fox News.
Doug Eddy joining us now with the first look at the forecast. Just a little bit of sun, mostly dreary, cloudy today, though.
Yeah, I mean, not a bad day. I mean, at least temperature is pretty good as we did go into the mid-60s for highs, but we should be topping out right around 70 for this time of the year. But clouds really thickened up during the afternoon into the evening hours as we have a weak little wave that is rotating through. We're on the very northern edge, but we are getting a few sprinkles, light showers, mainly our southern counties. Not a big deal. This is going to push right on through during the rest of the evening into the overnight hours. But you can see more of the solidified rain is down through Oklahoma and parts of Arkansas. Let's go through time. Clouds, random shower for us tonight into the morning hours, and then we'll clear out. It's kind of a cold start down into the upper 30s. Sunshine in the morning. Clouds thicken back up once again during the afternoon ahead of our next storm system. Mid-50s right now. Rain is going to work in. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
Doug Heddy, thank you as always. Oklahoma Senate passes a bill that would grant immunity to motorists who accidentally hit and kill or injure a person while fleeing a riot. Now, Oklahoma law defines a riot as, quote, any use of force or violence or any threat to use force or violence if accompanied by immediate power or execution by 3 or more persons acting together and without authority of law. The measure passed by the Senate would also increase penalties for anyone who blocks traffic during a protest. They could be charged with a misdemeanor, sentenced up to a year in prison. Now, the bill's author, Senator Rob Standridge, says the bill was prompted mostly by an incident in Tulsa last summer in which a pickup truck drove through a crowd gathered on a Tulsa interstate while protesting the death of George Floyd. Several people were injured, but the driver wasn't charged. Oklahoma Democrats argued before the vote that the bill could lead to the punishment of innocent bystanders or peaceful protesters. The bill is now awaiting the governor's signature. Missouri lawmakers are considering setting aside a day each January to honor the late Rush Limbaugh. The Cape Girardeau native gained national fame before he died in February at age 70 after a battle with cancer. A Missouri Senate committee this week debated legislation to designate January 12th, Limbaugh's birthday, as Rush Limbaugh Day. A similar proposal is pending in the House. And that brings us to tonight's KOAM News Now Instant Poll question. We want to know, how do you feel about the Missouri proposal to set aside a day every year to honor Rush Limbaugh? Tell us if you support or oppose it by going to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Numbers are updated live, and we'll check in on the poll again later in this newscast. Joplin school officials today broke ground on the site of the future Dover Hill Elementary School. New school will combine Columbia and West Central Elementaries into one. The property was donated to the district by the Economic Security Corporation. The construction is being paid for through a $25 million voter-approved bond.
Well, we're going to be building Dover Hill Elementary School. It's about 70,000 square feet. It has 18 classrooms, as well as what you would expect in an elementary.
Officials expect the construction of the school to be complete by the start of the school year this fall. His name was Durward Pendergraft, but many people knew him as Dude, the dude behind Dude's Donuts on Main Street in Joplin. Pendergraft passed away earlier this week. He and his wife started Dude's Donuts back in 1954, but Dude's son says that's only part of his legacy.
He had very strict moral code that he lived by, and his faith in God. And I would say that's probably the most important thing that he's passed on to me and to my children.
Durward Pendergraft was also a corporal in the U.S. Army stationed in Germany from 1952 to 54. Funeral service is scheduled for Friday at 10 a.m. at the 26th Street Church of Christ in Joplin. President Biden delivered a speech at the White House today to announce all U.S. troops will leave Afghanistan by September 11th. The Trump administration had made a deal with the Taliban to withdraw by May 1st, but President Biden pushed back the timeline, saying more time is needed. But troops will be gone in a matter of months. Fox News correspondent Ray Bogan has more on the announcement and why some say it's a mistake.
It's time for American troops to come home.
In a speech from the same room President George W. Bush first announced the start of the war in Afghanistan, President Biden declared the nation's 20-year-long war will soon be coming to a close.
With the terror threat now in many places, keeping thousands of troops grounded and concentrated in just one country at a cost of billions each year makes little sense to me.
The president marked the moment with a visit to Arlington National Cemetery to pay respects to the more than 2,300 service members killed in Afghanistan in the line of duty.
Look at them all.
On Capitol Hill, the president's announcement drew mixed reaction.
I always have concerns when we announce timelines to our adversaries and our allies. I just think it's a pretty bad strategy.
Some question the optics of President Biden's timeline to withdraw by September 11th, the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks.
Apparently, we're to help our adversaries ring in the anniversary of the 9/11 attacks by gift wrapping the country and handing it right back to them.
But with the war having become the nation's longest, costing the U.S. more than $2 trillion, Democrats defended the move.
So after sinking 2 decades of blood and treasure into wars in the Middle East, it's time to bring our troops home. I applaud President Biden's decision.
The majority leader says senators can have their questions answered about the withdrawal during a classified briefing. In Washington, Ray Bogan, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor one of our 4-state heroes. Herbert Orton served in the U.S. Army from 1943 to 1962. Native of Joplin, Orton received the Bronze Star and Combat Badge. We are proud to thank Sergeant Herbert Orton. He's tonight's 4-state hero. Doug Heddy's up next with a complete look at the forecast, and later, the Pittsburgh softball team is off to a hot start without a single senior on the roster. Gonna have that story plus more in sports.
Well, it turned out to be a decent Wednesday for us today. Temperatures not too bad as we did go into the mid-60s for highs, but the clouds really rolled in during the afternoon and the evening hours as a weak little wave is pushing by. But most of us have been staying dry. It looks pretty good. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. And again, most of us are dry, but we're going to get a few random little sprinkles or showers in here tonight. Temperatures pretty good today. You can see from 60 upwards to about 67 in Grove at Grand Lake. And then now we've dropped off. We have these northeasterly winds. It's still not bad. We're in the low to mid 50s, but it is going to be a little bit cool tonight as we drop back to about 38 to 40 for an overnight low. All right, clouds have been increasing. Also a few random little showers. Not a big deal, just some light little showers kind of skirting through. These are mainly in our southern counties, and a lot of this isn't even reaching the ground, but you can see back from Chanute, Fredonia, Independence, and then down through northeastern Oklahoma, some spotty light sprinkles, light showers. All the heavier, more persistent rain is down through central Oklahoma, eastern parts of Oklahoma, and that's where it's going to stay through the overnight hours tonight. So this wave is going to shift on through, and then right behind it, we have yet another storm system, which is going to rotate in as early as tomorrow afternoon. I still think tomorrow in general looks pretty good, and then we'll start to see a lot of changes. So showers mainly to our south for us tonight, but don't be surprised if you get a quick little shower or a few sprinkles. The clouds will start to break up a little bit late tonight, so we'll drop near 40, and then we'll have partly sunny skies in the morning, and then as we go into the afternoon, clouds will start to increase again. Very similar to what we had today, maybe a couple notches cooler, lower 60s. 4 highs. 37 to start, 56 by noon. High temp right around 62 during the afternoon. We're going to have these northeasterly winds, and they're going to be light. Then look at the showers. They push right back in tomorrow evening. These are going to be a little bit more widespread, still very light. Then on and off showers throughout the overnight hours tomorrow night. But then the rain, the more persistent rain works in on Friday. Friday is going to be just kind of a nasty day. Near 50 for a high. It's going to be a cold rain. Maybe even a random thunder shower. Nothing strong, nothing severe, so we don't have to worry about any severe weather, which is, we're in severe weather season, but we don't have to worry about it with this system on Friday. Just a cold rain, and then Friday night, the rain will slowly start to taper off, and then by Saturday, I think we'll start to dry out, but we're still going to have some morning showers around as we go into Saturday. All right, rainfall, we haven't had really any rain over the past week and a half, 2 weeks, but this system's a fairly wet system. It'll give us about an inch, maybe an inch and a half in certain spots. 62 tomorrow, showers by evening, a high of only 50 on Friday, 51 Saturday, 55 Sunday. Really, it's pretty chilly over the next few days for mid-April.
Yeah, like you said, though, the bright light here is that there's no severe weather for the time being anyway.
Yeah, that's always good news.
Yeah, there is. All right, Doug Heddy, thank you so much. Catch you in a little bit. Coming up, more witnesses called to the stand. One of them stating Derek Chauvin did not murder George Floyd. Police officer in Texas was rushed to the hospital this morning after being shot multiple times during a traffic stop. Police say the suspect, Jerry Don Elders, shot the officer, then later shot and killed a woman during a carjacking. Elders has been arrested. The officer is in the hospital and is expected to recover. Former Brooklyn Center, Minnesota police officer Kimberly Potter was arrested today. She's charged with second-degree manslaughter for the shooting of Daunte Wright. The shooting happened in Hennepin County, but the district attorney for Washington County is handling the case to avoid any appearance of a conflict of interest. Potter resigned from the police department yesterday. Brooklyn Center Police Chief Tim Gannon also resigned, saying he believed Potter's shooting of Daunte Wright was an accidental discharge. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin's trial is coming to an end. The defense calling another witness to the stand today who says he believes George Floyd died from a sudden heart rhythm problem. Fox's Anna Eliopoulos says more.
The defense continued its testimony Wednesday in the trial of Derek Chauvin. The day began with Judge Peter Cahill denying a defense request to acquit the former Minneapolis police officer. Chauvin's attorney Eric Nelson argued prosecutors had not proven their case.
The state has essentially introduced doubt in the context of providing multiple opinions from multiple experts, all of which seem to contradict each other.
Later, witness Maurice Hall, who was in the SUV with Floyd at the time of his arrest, invoked his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination.
I'm fearful of criminal charges going forward.
Jurors did hear from a retired forensic pathologist who believes Floyd died from a sudden heart rhythm problem during his restraint by police.
Significant contributory conditions would be, since I've already put the heart disease in part 1, he would have the toxicology, the fentanyl and methamphetamine. There is exposure to a vehicle exhaust.
He also said in his opinion the placement of Chauvin's knee did not impact any, quote, vital structures of Floyd's neck. On cross-examination, prosecutors worked to create doubt in the minds of jurors.
Would you agree that somebody with an oxygen deficit who is involved in a vigorous physical confrontation would be more susceptible to positional asphyxia than would otherwise be the case? Do you agree with that?
Yes.
We're coming down to the final days of this trial, with closing arguments expected on Monday. Anna Eliopoulos, Fox News.
Just ahead, relatives of people who passed away because of COVID-19 voicing frustration after FEMA announced it'll help pay for the funerals. The story of a logistical nightmare, as many people are seeing it, when we come back. FEMA announced last Friday would pay up to $9,000 per funeral for deaths related to COVID-19. Now, the only way to apply for that money is over the phone. And as Fox's John Manahan in Boston reports, Monday, when it came, calls came in as well.
FEMA's new funeral hotline was overwhelmed by calls on the first day as people tried to apply for $9,000 for COVID-19 funeral expenses. Frustrating for people like Bill Schwartz, whose dad passed in December from COVID.
I started calling immediately, and I didn't have any luck. 150, 200 times, whatever.
The program's debut was marked by busy signals and technical issues.
All circuits are busy now. Please try your call later.
And the same problem happened across the country. People took to Twitter. One woman saying, getting through to FEMA today to apply for COVID funeral assistance is like pulling teeth. All circuits busy since 8 a.m. Another man tweeted, no one can get through to this line. I lost my father to COVID December 22nd. Spent $4,000 of my savings wiping it out to cover funeral costs. I can't get through on the phone. FEMA was aware of the issue, sending its own tweet that said in part, we are working to solve the technical issues caused by a high number of calls. But for callers like Bill, who finally got through, today was worth the wait.
Frankly, if this actually works out, it would be a nice thing to get. So many people were so negatively impacted by this, and I think it's the right thing to do.
Requirements for eligibility include a death certificate stating the death was from COVID-19, and the death had to happen in the 50 states, Washington, D.C., or a U.S. territory after January 20th of last year. You can go to FEMA.gov for a full list of requirements. All right, going to see how your pooch can make you $20,000 richer by taste testing a special beer. Busch is offering $20,000 for your dog to drink beer. Okay, not exactly real beer, but the brand's special dog brew. It's a canine-friendly, alcohol-free bone broth. The company launched it last year and is looking for an official dog brew taster. If your pup is picked, he or she will become the new CTO. Chief Tasting Officer, that is. Not only does the gig come with a $20,000 check, but also pet insurance and free dog brew. To apply, post a pic of your dog on social media along with their qualifications and the hashtag BuschCTO contest. It's interesting, right? All right, 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming away. A group of Joplin citizens meeting to discuss ways to help the city's homeless population. Also, we're going to learn about the researchers behind a new process converting soybean biomass into batteries. Joplin's HEAT, or Homeless Emergency Action Team, held a meeting today. They are a citizen group dedicated to helping the city's homeless population during times of crisis. Today's meeting was to discuss where they would meet and coordinate during such a crisis.
It's important to me because I'm a human being, and that's who we're reaching out to, are other human beings, people that deserve the same basic human rights as all of us sometimes take for granted. Just the basic human needs, knowing that we're going to have a roof over our head or at least somewhere to sleep peacefully.
This is the second monthly meeting the group has held. A national organization called 1 Million Cups of Coffee, meant to connect entrepreneurs, held its first meeting in Joplin today. The local branch of this organization is connected to the Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce.
I think that this organization, 1 Million Cups, is a great program for anybody starting a business or anyone who's an entrepreneur. Just putting yourself out there and being a little bit vulnerable and getting some feedback from the community. Maybe someone sitting in the audience has been where you are.
1 Million Cups is a weekly event. All right, scientists over the Kansas Polymer Research Center at PSU envision a world powered by soybeans. They've created a process that converts soybean biomass into batteries. Now, soybeans are plentiful in our part of the country. A grant from the Missouri Soybean Merchandising Council funded the research.
They are super excited and very supportive, and such type of research cannot be performed without support, So our admins and our leaders are very supportive to these ideas, which helps to promote, eco-friendly materials and batteries for industries, basically.
Soybeans are the #1 crop in Missouri and among the top 10 crops in Kansas. Theater students at Joplin High School preparing for their next performance. They will be performing the musical The Drowsy Chaperone. The Drowsy Chaperone is an homage to American musicals of the jazz age and the effect they have on fans.
We're so grateful that we finally get to do this again. And as much as we don't necessarily love wearing masks, we're so grateful that we can do this. And wearing the masks is only a small obstacle for a huge opportunity.
The performances are going to be this Friday and Saturday. Tickets can be bought online for only $10. Masks, as you were hearing about, are required. Bernie Madoff has died in a federal prison. A spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office confirming Madoff died in a federal prison in North Carolina, apparently from natural causes. Madoff admitted swindling thousands of clients out of billions of dollars in investments over the decades. He was serving his sentence for his financial crimes in a Ponzi scheme. His lawyers tried to get him released from prison during the pandemic, saying he suffered from end-stage renal disease and other chronic medical conditions. That request, however, was denied. Madoff was 82 years old. Dollar General is hiring up to 20,000 new employees this spring. The discount chain is hosting in-person and virtual hiring events from April 19th through April 23rd. Positions will support stores, distribution, transportation, and corporate operations. Company is recommending candidates find out more about the hiring on its website. Dollar General will be conducting hiring events April 22nd and 23rd, and virtual hiring events will take place online, of course, April 19th to the 21st. Dollar General has more than 17,000 stores in 46 states. All right, time now for another check of tonight's KOAM News Now Instant Poll question. Missouri lawmakers are considering setting aside a day each January to honor the late Rush Limbaugh. We want to know what you think about this proposal. 74% of you oppose it. Now, the last time we checked on this, though, a few of you voted yes, that you do support it, and that brings us to 26% of you who do support it. Still have time to vote. We're going to have final results over on KOAM News at 10. A bit later, Olympic officials pushing ahead with this year's games.
COVID is affecting the countdown to the Olympics. I'm Ian Lee with how the pandemic will shape this summer's games.
Not a bad Wednesday for us today. I had sunshine during the morning hours, temps mid-60s, but we should be topping out at 70 this time of the year. We're deep into spring now, so a little bit cool. In fact, over about the next week or so, it's going to be kind of cool around here. But this is the last stretch that we have cool weather, and then we really start to warm up. Looks pretty good. Great shot. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. We have the clouds, even a few random little sprinkles or random showers, but in general, it looks pretty good. Look at our highs. Most of us mid-60s earlier today. Then we have dropped off over the past several hours. 50 in Iola, 55 in Miami, Cassville, 51 in Lamar. I think most of us upper 30s to near 40 for an overnight low. Clouds worked in during the afternoon. Now we got some very light showers, very light sprinkles. Not a big deal, but you can see these pushing southeastern Kansas, and then the bulk of the moisture is in our southern half of the region, northeastern Oklahoma, northwestern Arkansas. So we have these light little showers or sprinkles working through, but any persistent or heavier rain will stay down through eastern Oklahoma and all the way down into northern parts of Texas as this wave continues to rotate through. There's one right behind it, though. If we jump out toward the Rockies, here's our next system. This will start to affect us by tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night. Again, this little wave tonight gives us some clouds, maybe a random sprinkle or shower, and that is really just about it. In fact, I think we'll start the day and we'll have a decent amount of sunshine, and then these mid and upper level clouds are going to roll right back in during the afternoon. Temps not bad, maybe a notch or two cooler than what we saw today, but still a decent day. 37 to start, 56 by noon. High temp of 62 during the afternoon. All right, look at the rain increasing again tomorrow evening. It's going to be light. We're not going to have any big thunderstorms, nothing strong, nothing severe, which really we're in this nice stretch. We're going to have about, if we go back to last Friday, we had severe weather, but a nice 12, 14-day stretch where we don't have to worry about severe weather. And then, of course, it gets active. This system is just rain. It's cold rain. Look how the rain picks up on Friday through the morning into the afternoon. Also notice the temperatures. These are our highs, upper 40s to lower 50s. So Friday's going to be just kind of a nasty day. We continue to get showers Friday night, and then by Saturday we're just going to have mostly cloudy skies, but we're still going to have a few random showers. This is also a wet system. It's going to give us a decent amount of rain. I think a lot of areas are going to pick up an inch, maybe upwards to 2 inches of rain out of this next system, which it's time. It's been kind of dry, at least over the past 10 to 15 days. We haven't had a ton of rain, even though we had some scattered thunderstorms last Friday. All right, 62 for us tomorrow, 50 on Friday, 51 Saturday, 55 on Sunday. So this is a pretty cool stretch. And then here in about 7 or 8 days, we'll start to warm things back up.
Cool, cold, but at least it won't be freezing, right?
Yeah, that's true. Good news.
Always a positive, right? All right, Doug Hetty. Thanks so much as always. Coming up in sports, a young lineup has the Pittsburgh softball team off to a hot start this season. Plus, a few Carl Junction standouts signing today to continue their careers at the next level. Jacob Leonard has details next.
Four Carl Junction student athletes signed today to continue their careers in college. 2 of them are moving on to cheer, while the other 2 will continue to play baseball at the next level. Maggie Brown and Jade Smith signed to continue their cheer careers today. Brown at Pittsburgh State and Smith at Southwest Baptist. On the baseball side, these 2 can really play. Carson Johnson signs to play at Ottawa University in Kansas, while Noah Southern is headed to Oklahoma to play for the NEO Golden Norsemen.
It means a lot. I've worked really hard for what I want, and I've came to that point. So It's a big relief.
I've been waiting a long time to do this, just kind of putting dreams into reality now.
Yeah. Both my parents went to college there. My brother goes to college there, so going to the games and just watching them cheer was so exciting to watch, and so I can't wait to be a part of that.
The girls, you can tell, just have this amazing bond with each other, and that family and friend environment is what I'm really excited to be able to fit into.
The Pittsburgh High School softball team is off to a hot start this season. And behind that start is a young roster, hot bats, and early season chemistry. The Pittsburgh Purple Dragons are 6-2 through their first 8 games.
The only thing better would be to start off 8-0. Sure would like to have one of those games back and maybe be 7-1, but we'll take 6-2 right now.
My freshman year, we had a little rough season, and it was more on the losing side, and it is so much more fun to win and have a good team and everyone know about us and hear about us, and it just feels great.
Pittsburgh does not have a single senior on the roster. Their lineup is made up of freshmen and a big group of juniors who have stepped up to lead the way.
It's been easy for us to take on that role. When seniors are there, juniors always feel like they need to step back a little more, but with us we have a great group of juniors that need to take role and lead each other, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Each and every one of them brings a different leadership quality that benefits the whole team. You're not just kind of like loping around, we're going to do this because we're supposed to, because you want to. Own it.
We've had a freshman third baseman, a freshman shortstop, which is incredible, and our freshman pitchers, they do great.
Chemistry has been key.
Everyone knows that we like each other, we're going to be there for each other.
We win together, we lose together, we run together, we laugh together, we cry together. It's all of us all in all the time for each other. Say it loud! If I don't hear it, it don't happen.
And their offense has been big as well, posting 10 runs per game.
One of our big goals every game is to take the pressure off of us and put it on the other team. And so when you get on the board first, it takes the pressure off. You're able to play a little bit more relaxed and focus a little bit better.
We always tell our pitchers, we'll back you up defensively, we'll get you offensively. So just having everything and putting it all together, it's really helped us out.
With their hot start and a young core, the Dragons have high expectations for not only this season, but next year as well.
What a unique position for Pittsburgh softball to be in at this point in time. Great junior leadership, great sophomores on our team, great freshmen. The future's bright. Yeah, future's great for these girls. I know they're super excited about what they're doing right now. 4-4-4. There we go. We're not playing the best softball that we're going to play all season, so if we can go 8-0 down the stretch at the end of the season, I'll take that.
Well, Pittsburgh will be back on the field next Tuesday facing Columbus. We're back with more news after this.
We are inching closer to those Summer Olympic Games in Tokyo. Despite being postponed for a year and an upsurge in Japan's COVID cases, officials say the show will go on. Reporter Ian Lee has more from London.
When Japan won the right to host the Olympic Games, it sold itself as a safe pair of hands. Nearly 8 years and a pandemic later, nothing is safe and nothing is certain.
We have COVID-19 spreading in Tokyo. We have medical professionals here questioning why the games are going on, saying it's too big a risk.
A new wave of COVID cases even forced the torch relay off public roads. But with 100 days to go and roughly $15 billion invested, Olympic officials say the games will go on. Just expect them to look different.
There'll be no fans from abroad here. Athletes will be in quarantine most of the time.
Hundreds of American athletes will join roughly 15,000 competitors from around the world.
They are absolutely 100% focused on preparation for games that should happen and that they believe will happen.
Olympians don't have to be vaccinated, but will be given hand sanitizer and masks. Officials hope that will be enough to get the games to the finish line.
Up to 80% of people in Japan want those games to be canceled or delayed at least, especially with less than 1% of the country vaccinated. Hollywood helping to spread COVID-19 vaccine awareness and distribution. Hollywood Nation coming your way. From Selena Gomez's new hosting gig to the latest news on Bridgerton, plus 2 new trailers featuring Ryan Reynolds and Dave Bautista are now available to check out. Fox's Asher Dvorkin has the latest in the Hollywood Nation.
If I
I want to fly.
Whistledown shares good news, and Gomez aims to inspire in the Hollywood nation. Selena Gomez will host Global Citizens Vax Live, the concert to reunite the world, a virtual event aiming to encourage people to get the COVID-19 vaccine and to make it more available to everyone worldwide. It will also call on philanthropists and corporations to donate enough dollars for doses to vaccinate more than 27 million frontline health workers globally. The special will be pre-taped at the SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, and performances include Foo Fighters, Eddie Vedder, Jennifer Lopez, J Balvin, and Her. It will air and stream May 8th on ABC, ABC News Live, CBS, YouTube, iHeartMedia broadcast radio stations, and the iHeartRadio app, as well as on Fox.
Tighter!
More good news for Bridgerton fans. Netflix has renewed its hit period romance drama for a third and fourth season. The announcement was made in the form of a letter written by the character Lady Whistledown, and it comes well ahead of the season 2 premiere.
This should be a simple in and out.
Speaking of Netflix, the streamer unleashes the first official trailer to Zack Snyder's action-packed thriller Army of the Dead. Dave Bautista leads a group of mercenaries attempting to pull off the greatest heist while facing off against zombies during an outbreak in Las Vegas. Woo! And Lionsgate debuts the trailer to the sequel to Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Ryan Reynolds, Samuel L. Jackson, and Salma Hayek reprise their roles for the action comedy, arriving in theaters June 16th.
How many times have you nearly got me killed?
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you with video of a baby monkey at a zoo in Australia. All right, 1, 2, 3. Aww. Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.